My name is Kwasi. I sort of felt unwell. I think around the 24th of April. I didn't know at that time that it was COVID at all. I think my partner gave me coffee to drink, and I thought it was water. At that time as well, they had not added taste to the COVID criteria, so we were not too sure. We didn't even think it was COVID because I didn't think that it was. But I felt generally unwell around that time, and she bought a temperature gauge, which my temperature was sort of ranging within the 39s at that point. So I think the Sunday, I was really unwell the Sunday, and she just felt that I'd got to a point where I think I was slurring my words. Went to A&E, did a few tests, did an X-ray, came back, and it was pneumonia. That was what they diagnosed me with first. And then I think a few hours later, they diagnosed me with COVID, where I was put on the ventilator for a good few days, I think maybe a week. Um, I was quite poorly because I am type 1 diabetic as well. So my conditions, I'm type 1 diabetic. I've got sickle cell trait, and I didn't know till I got to hospital that I'd got something called, was it? Oh, is this thalassemia or I didn't know I had that till I went to hospital as well. Um, so I was quite poorly. I woke up from the ventilator. I think, as I said, my time frame is quite mixed up in terms of how long I was on the ventilator for. But I woke up to sort of claps when I woke up because I think they were slowly trying to get me off the ventilator, and it happened in the end. For me, as I was in through from going from home to shop doc to waking up in the ward and the care that I got, to be fair, I can't. It was brilliant. The care that I received in intensive care, the people I met there, it was absolutely brilliant. I've never had complaints about the NHS before because being type 1 diabetic, I've always sort of been in touch with health services. But you hear people talk of things like, oh, I went to hospital, it wasn't great. I can't say that at all. I had, when I woke up from the being induced ventilator, I had perfect care. It was absolutely brilliant. Even though everyone was sort of masked up and you couldn't really see anyone's face, um, it didn't take away from the care at all. I had, I say till today that I had the best care in hospital. They were really, really caring. They everything I asked for, I got in terms of my care. I formed a few sort of, I would say friendships when I was there. It's not continued after, but whilst I was there, the staff went above and beyond. It was just fantastic. I think Katie always heard me saying, "Oh, ITU was the best," because for me it was such an experience. I really felt that they'd done such a good job with me. Sort of the physio, everything was quite well sort of coordinated as well. I was having physio was coming to me. When I woke up, I couldn't walk. When I woke up, I'd lost sort of strength in my legs, and I had physio. I had sort of people coming to make sure that cognitively I was okay. Because when I woke up, one of the things which um, I found was that my short sight had deteriorated. I've always had long sight problems, but my short sight, when I woke up, I couldn't really see very well in terms of close up. But straight away, they did this, took me to a CT scan. Um, Everything was quite well thought of and quite well planned when I was there. So to be fair, in terms of my stay, intensive care, and subsequently Ward 17, before I left, I found the support and help in hospital. It was absolutely brilliant. There was nothing that they didn't do for you. There was nothing that they didn't explain, or there was nothing that they didn't follow up. I didn't find any delays, to be fair. I don't know if because I was there and I was quite poorly. Everything was sort of within reach in the hospital, so I didn't find any sort of delays or issues. They facilitated me speaking to my family, quite well. Um, they could. We had video calls, we had normal phone calls. So anything that sort of needed because it was quite difficult where no one could visit. They sort of went above and beyond and made sure that family were always in touch and they could talk to you sort of anytime you needed it, really. So I found the whole experience in hospital absolutely brilliant. Um, I used to have quite a lot of sort of nightmares in hospital, and even before I came out, they'd already sort of started prepping for things like counselling or to see someone. So before I'd even left hospital, it sort of started that sort of journey as well. So my time in intensive care, my time in Ward 17, again for me, the nurses were absolutely brilliant. Um, I remember to um, Laura, because I was quite in and out, and my drugs were quite heavy. I don't really remember everyone, but those I did remember. They were absolutely brilliant. They even had me come back, which I thought was absolutely brilliant. So to help me sort of be able to add up and be, to sort of put things together, they invited me back to intensive care. I met some of the nurses who were all masked up by then, so I could see faces now. Met a few doctors. They took me around the ward so that I could put things together to the point where I realized that there was no slashing machine in the hospital. I thought there was one when I was hallucinating. So that sort of really helped me to put things together. And they sort of explained where I was, what ward I was in, what room I was in. So that was quite a really good touch as well, where they sort of invite you back and so that you could sort of go through that journey again and make things clear in your head because I still had quite a lot of questions. And when I came out, and I think going back there really helped me to sort of put a lot of things to rest. So I think that was brilliant. As I said, there was no delay at all, and that's why I said, the services for me through hospital to home, for me there was no hiccups, there was no delays. It was really, really quick. It wasn't as if when I came on there's going to be a waiting list for a physio. I thought there was going to be a wait. To be fair, I did think, okay, I'm back home. They've said that I need a physio, and I thought there was going to be a waiting list.
Yeah.
And it was really quick. And yes, coming out of hospital, I think I was the first person in Telford and Wrekin not to have died of the ventilator.
Yeah.
So it was very emotional for the staff in the hospitals as well. So I think that's why the video came about where, the day I was leaving, the head nurse in Ward 17, she said, just brace yourself. And I was like, brace myself for what? And she just brace yourself when we go outside. And I didn't even know there was going to be people lined up on the corridor. And I was like, oh, please don't. And they wheeled me back and forth about 3 times. Yeah, because at that point I couldn't walk. I was like, I can't really watch it a lot. I just came through because I'm like, oh, geez, that was me in a wheelchair. I couldn't even walk. It was. They were quite emotional. I think for me that's where maybe again, I know maybe people say NHS have paid you. That's where for me, I just feel they didn't have to do it. They didn't need to do it, but on the day they just all felt we've all worked together here. The first person to go home out of ITU, we all need to celebrate this. It's a really difficult time. This is a success story. They pushed me, I pushed them. To the point where it's been brilliant. It's been emotional. But I look back. I tell my partner sometimes when I listen to things like I used to play a lot of free radio. So when I hear free radio or certain smells or certain conversations, take me back to wow. But it's not a bad thing. I don't go back. I don't have flashbacks and think, oh, it was a really difficult time. I have happy thoughts of the people I met in hospital, the people I met out of hospital. I've got very positive and good thoughts about everything that happened with me. So there are no negatives there for me. I don't think back and think, oh, an adverse effect. I think, wow, what a positive thing that happened to me.